Hey guys, so it's still winter, but we got a pretty nice day today and I'm starting to think about summer adventures. So I'm going to make a raft, a river raft, to go on some adventures this summer with. And the idea with this raft is that I'm going to make one that I can transport easily inside my Jeep. So it needs to be able to come apart and it has to be able to be maneuverable enough in size that I can do it myself. And I also, the other objective is to make it so that it's $50 or less. Thus, we're going to use pallet wood. I picked up a bunch of pallets and we're going to use the pallet wood to build the raft. I also picked up some 18-gallon plastic bins that we're going to use for the flotation. Where we first start is with measuring the inside of the Jeep to know what size panels that I can actually use to construct the raft. So the inside dimensions are almost 5 feet by, depending on where you measure from, there's kind of a little indent that comes out. 39 to 41, 42 inches is about what we're looking at. So I had done a tentative plan at 40 inches, which seems like that'll slot right in there just perfect. And now we get to tear apart pallets to get the wood. Okay, that is not as easy as it looks. Okay, so that was way harder than I thought it was going to be. I was able to get some of the boards off that I'm going to use for the decking off of some of the pallets, but the pallets that I was going to use the 2x4s to build the frames, I don't know. I'm going to have to try something else. It's not working just with the hammer and the pry bar. So I'll have to try something else on those, but I'm still working at it because I'm going to make this thing in under $50. So it's been a little over a week since I filmed the video on taking apart the pallets, and I gave up on the pallets. I've since watched some YouTube videos and figured out ways that I maybe could get them apart, but it just seemed easier to just look around and see what kind of 2x4s we had here, and I was able to find enough to put the frame together. I did have to go buy two 2x4s, the economy wood, and so I got it all cut, and I'm going to put it together now. So you can kind of get the gist of what I was going for here. I got 4 pieces that will be put together. You can see the different sections, and like that's one section with those 4. I didn't put all the bins in yet, but that's one section, and that'll be a separate section once it's all put together. So basically there'll be 4 individual sections that I'll be able to stack up inside my Jeep, toss the bins in, and then when I get to the water, put it all together, bolt all the 4 pieces together, and away I go. And I don't need a trailer and, you know, a couple people to help me. So I'm gonna get started on screwing it together. Okay, so just to get you caught up on where I'm at with this thing, I moved inside because it started getting cold out, and I was having problems with doing the larger sections because the 2x4s had a twist to them, and on the larger sections it was really hard to get it to be square. The smaller section, this is the first of two of the smaller sections, still had the twist to this, but it's better. I was able to get the corners fairly square and fairly connected. I started off using screws on the larger section, and I realized I prefer using hammer and nails, which I'm sure is probably not the preferred way to build this, but I don't care, I prefer it that way. So basically we got the tubs, we got 2x4, 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 and 2x4 is running this way, and this is the part of the platform that the tubs will attach to. I just realized that needs to go over further. A lot further. So anyway, I'll fix that. But basically what I'm going to do is I need it to be light enough that I can haul it around and have it be no problem hauling it around. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a separate section that just lays in on top of this. And I'll build it like this next to the water, and then just lay the top piece on top in here to fill it in. This I'll put an actual piece there. I just got to figure out how to get that corner in a little tighter. But I'll lay it in here. So basically this is the start of it. This is the first one. I'll give you a close-up of these corners so you can see what I'm talking about, how the wood doesn't really work. This is what you get when you have, you know, I'm trying to do it under 50 bucks. And I had to buy a couple pieces of economy wood that they were crooked, the 2x4s, and some of the 2x4s that I had, they had a twist in them, and it makes it hard to get corners square and stuff, but I think I'll be able to get it put together good enough that I'll feel safe riding it on the water. So you can see the corner here, how it's separate like that. It's because of twist on the wood. And those pieces that's the long side, so those pieces are 39 inches. So you can imagine the 4-foot one, how much farther they got out. Now I can pound that in, but if I pound that in, then the other side pounds out. So this is even worse on this end, which I think once I put a top board on it, I think that'll help. I'm not sure what piece of wood I'm going to put there, or if I'm going to cut a piece of plywood. But these just sit right in, and they'll attach in here to this handle using just a small leg bolt. And this corner actually turned out halfway decent. That's probably the best one. And this one, where is it? There we go. There's a gap there. Okay, so I'm still working on this stuff in my house because I decided I prefer the dining room to the garage. I got two of the smaller frames done, and they're, well, relatively, I mean, you can see how crooked they are. They're relatively fine. These taller ones, these are 4-foot sections, and you'll see when I put the board on how crooked they are. That's one side. Let's get it on here. Okay, so this side, if I hold this flat, it's not too bad. But you can see what this side does. That's how crooked the boards are. They just have like a twist to them. And on these longer ones, it's more apparent. I actually set this on the floor, and you can see what it does. Set it on the floor. If I set this side flat, you can see how high that goes up. And this is a 39-inch piece of wood, and that's how far the thing sets up. I'll cut that wood, and I'll try and fix the tops of these, and then get back to you when I have all the framing set up. Okay, so I'm back out in the garage. I just carried everything out here, and I got it all set up. There's still a little bit that I have to do to it all, but to keep this video from taking, a month to film, I figure we'll end it right where it's at right now. There's a lot of upgrades I'm going to do to it along the way, and so those will come out in a separate video. But I got it all set up here. I'll show you. So you can see there's four separate sections. Little ones here. I don't have them bolted together, just so you can see. A little one here, and then a little one in the back corner as well. Back here. So the 18-gallon tubs just sit underneath here, and they hold it up. There's four across here, and I left out some in the center on purpose on each side, because when I bolt it together, there has to be a place to bolt everything together. So I still have to put plywood in, or I might do slats. I haven't decided yet. I need to keep it light enough so that I can carry it, and right now the 4-foot sections are, you know, borderline what I can reasonably handle on my own. If you had 2 people, it would be simple. They don't weigh that much. It's just maneuvering them around and stuff. On your own, I'm not really all that strong, so that was the best way to do it. So basically, there'll be either inserts on top, probably for sure they'll just be inserts that sit on top on the 4-foot sections, and then on the smaller sections that are only like 30 inches by 39 inches, those will likely be probably covered, because those are, I can carry those. But the bigger ones I have a little harder time with. So it's still got sections where it's pretty square, considering all the wood that was twisted. I got rid of a few of the boards that were twisted, but there's still a lot of them in there. And just to keep the cost down, I'm not going to do anything with it. The overall cost on the thing, probably, it went over 50, but probably not over 65, mainly because I had a lot of the wood here, and was able to just use what I did. I wasn't able to use much of the pallet wood that I originally got, that I was originally going to do, but the pallet wood is on there. Those slats that are going to hold the bins, all of that's on there. That's from the pallet. The stuff that I was actually able to remove, a lot of it I couldn't remove. That's going to be a whole nother story later. So anyway, I'm going to load it all into the Jeep. We'll see if it all fits, and we'll have a transportable raft that I can put together and use as one person. Okay, so now this raft is roughly about 6.5 to 7 feet by 6.5 feet. And it fits completely fine in the back of this Jeep. So this is a project that pretty much anybody can do. Just measure what you have, what your automobile can hold, and you know, design it and put it together. It's just 4 squares that you bolt together, and screw some plastic bins. The main part that costs money on it, if I would have used the pallet wood, it really wouldn't have cost anything. The bins are like $4.50 depending on where you buy them. You know, the nails I started off using screws, but I prefer to use nails when I build stuff, so I just switched to nails, which, I don't know. When I started this, there was still ice on the lake. Right now, there probably isn't. There might still be, but I don't know, it might be fine. But the water temperature is still, you know, you'd freeze if you landed in it. So just in case there's any trouble with this, I'm not going to start or take it out and try it today. But I definitely will get it out within like a month or two. And I got to do some modifications to it to make it a little safer, and there's a couple things I want to do to it just to make it a little cooler. So that's it for the video. Again, this is something you could do. Basically, if you have nails and you have access to wood, or you know how to pull a pallet apart, You can do it for under $50, easy. It's just the cost of the bins, and depending on how big you make it, you know, you don't need that many bins. I figure one of those bins can comfortably hold 70 pounds. So with the weight of the wood and me on there, I could probably get away with just having 5 on there. Now I'm going to have more because obviously I want it to be safer, but you could probably get away with less depending on how much weight you're going to put on there. So that's basically it for today. Transportable, do-it-yourself, less than $50 raft that you can have fun on the lakes in the summer with. If you like this kind of stuff, give me a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.